All right. Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for coming. Today, I'm going to talk about a paper that I'm developing for an upcoming issue of JSIST, which is the Journal of the Association for Information Science and Technology. It's a big journal in the field, and they have a special issue coming out. They had a call for papers on the theme of healthier information ecosystems, really focused on like dysfunction in the information ecosystem, like misinformation, disinformation, conspiracy theories and things like that. And so my focus is on the topic of uncertainty, which is kind of central to a lot of what I research. So get started here. The question that's kind of driving or has driven my research, and this is still in progress. The paper's not due till May. But the question I'm kind of asking is, what role does uncertainty, and I'll explain why I'm looking at uncertainty momentarily, but what role does uncertainty play in the health or dysfunction, and really dysfunction is key here, of an information ecosystem? And by information ecosystem, we're talking about the world, the life world of information activities. So not just an individual, but the way the individual interacts with the environment, with information, with other people, with technology, and how all those things interact to create a healthy or dysfunctional information ecosystem. So here we're going to go a little bit beyond information behavior, where uncertainty is kind of central to that. I'm going to look at that, but not just that. So here's where I'm rooted in terms of the theory that almost all of my research is based on, is information theory. And hopefully you've encountered this by now in your studies with Claude Shannon's information theory. So information theory sort of ushered in the field of information science. And Claude Shannon, the inventor, he invented the digital bit. He also invented a way to, or developed a mathematical formula to measure information or uncertainty in information, which he called entropy. But he was only interested, and this is the model he created with one of his colleagues, Warren Weaver. He was interested in this area right here, this noise, which he said was introduced during the electronic transmission of a message, across an digital message. It could be the radio or some such thing. And that noise created uncertainty in the message, or what he called entropy. Entropy is a term that comes out of physics and thermodynamics, but he applied it to information. But he was only interested in technical uncertainty or technical information. But Warren Weaver, his colleague here, actually was going beyond just technical information, and was talking about how, when a message is sent, it's not just a technical problem, it can also be a semantic problem. How does somebody at the receiving end of the message understand the message? How much of the message do they get? And also an effectiveness problem. How effective is the message? Did the goal of the message, or did the message meet its goal by the sender to the receiver? So the problem of communication, and this is a communication model, is a lot bigger than just technical information or technical uncertainty. So, but that's where I'm starting. Uncertainty coming out of information theory. Now, if we move into information behavior research, which you should all have some familiarity with, uncertainty is very much central to that, but it's not technical uncertainty, it's cognitive uncertainty. And all of these are, here we have Belkin, Kuhlthau, Dervin, and Wilson, all developed models of information seeking or information behavior. And Kuhlthau actually developed, as part of her information search process model, an uncertainty principle to go with it, to really develop a theory behind the information search process. And her assumption in this is that uncertainty is a cognitive state of anxiety. So it's a negative state, and that information seeking reduces uncertainty. And Belkin and Durbin, all of these other information behavior models also kind of go along that same assumption that we have a state of uncertainty and information seeker does. And as they seek out information, it reduces the uncertainty. The problem with this is that it cannot always be true. It's a state, it's not a logical statement because it cannot always be true. Sometimes when we seek information, we become more uncertain. And it could be because there's no certainty in the information itself. So this is where the complexity of uncertainty becomes more apparent. So we have technical uncertainty, we have cognitive uncertainty, and there's also would be social uncertainty, which is how a community or even a culture responds to uncertainty or information that is sort of the unknowns. So what I did was basically on this, bringing in information theory and then looking at, there's also the philosophy of information. What is information? Information is a process, information is knowledge, information is a thing. All of these things actually come out of information theory as well. And so uncertainty, if we're looking at information uncertainty, is cognitive, like with human information behavior. It's technical, or I would say physical. I'm using that terminology if you're talking about Claude Shannon's view of it. And then social, if we're going to look at the bigger picture of how people interact or how people react and are influenced by each other in terms of uncertainty. So that's kind of where I'm looking at, sort of this framework of uncertainty as not only cognitive, like information behavior research, but also physical and social. Okay, so what I have done or have started to do is I wanted to look at the research on how research articles are treating the term uncertainty. And not just in our field in library and information science, but across different disciplines. So psychology and the cognitive sciences, computer science, and even perhaps engineering and the physical sciences, health, and medicine. How is uncertainty being treated? Because we really need to understand the construct of uncertainty and how it's currently treated in the literature within different disciplines to understand how it could possibly be an issue in the information ecosystem. So what I have done is using theoretical thematic analysis to do a systematic literature review. Now, theoretical thematic analysis is a deductive approach. So most thematic analysis is inductive, which means that you gather qualitative data and then you analyze it and themes evolve or emerge from that. So you don't know what the themes are before you start doing the analysis. But with theoretical thematic analysis, it kind of goes the opposite. You're going in with a theoretical lens or a framework, and you're analyzing qualitative data. In my case, it's literature, and seeing and encoding that and seeing how it fits within your theoretical framework. And I'm doing that because that's the only way I can see as understanding uncertainty from the information theory perspective. So I have used Science Direct. We have that access to that here at ESU. And really, my choices are based on accessibility, what I have access to. So, and it's also a good database for the subject area. It kind of covers all these subject areas I mentioned, like the natural sciences and health and medicine, psychology, social sciences, including library and information science. And wanted to see how does uncertainty, how is it treated within this literature? So what I did was I did a keyword search for uncertainty, and it's an advanced search in the title abstract or author provided keywords. And another reason why Science Direct is good for this, besides the topics, was that the indexing is much more consistent than in databases like EBSCO. What I mean by that is that you have an abstract for every article. Like when you search in EBSCO, there's not always an abstract included in the index record. And I needed to have all of that information. I also limited to research articles because there's other types of articles like reviews and editorials and things like that. I just wanted the research articles in what our library subscribes to. So it created much more limited search than the whole database potential of Science Direct, but it was a nice solid number of articles. I think there were 350, somewhere around there, of articles that I was able to identify. And I've gone through probably 100 so far in analyzing them. So what I did, because they're all full text, I'm downloading them in a zip file, and then I can upload them into another tool called Voyant Tools. It's a text analysis tool that's free, and it's really good if you're not familiar with it. This is a good one, and it's a free one for doing analysis of text or content. And so I'm able to get some context for how the term uncertainty is used in these articles. It's a much easier way to analyze than going article by article through Science Direct. It's just, this is a little more streamlined. And so what I found so far is looking at my framework of physical uncertainty, cognitive uncertainty, and social uncertainty, and sort of coding and then seeing how is this type of uncertainty, what does it fit, category does it fit under? And I found that specific areas, disciplines look at different areas of uncertainty. So in the middle here, we have cognitive uncertainty. And as you might guess, a lot of these articles are coming from the library and information science journals. Anxiety, uncertainty reduction is a common. It's common because of the assumption that uncertainty is a cognitive state of anxiety, and that we would reduce that by information seeking. So these articles are based on that assumption. And then also, like in sociology and in psychology, you have something called relationship uncertainty. And a lot of these articles are talking about like when people start dating, or when they're doing dating on social media, or first connecting, how they would know that the other person is interested. And so relationship uncertainty is really another form of cognitive uncertainty, and ways in which they reduce that to figure out, is this person interested in me? And then there's also something called uncertainty intolerance, a smaller amount of literature, which is really that some people just can't cope with uncertainty. And this is also a cognitive. So if somebody has high anxiety, I would imagine they can't really cope with that, with not knowing. And they might actually avoid information as a result. So the other two areas, this was the predominant area of so far of research articles talking about cognitive uncertainty. Since library information science, and then of course in some in psychology, and then in physical uncertainty, this is coming out of Claude Shannon's idea of technical information, or that entropy. So this would be physical measures or mathematical measures of information, or and the higher the entropy of something, the more uncertain it is. So epistemic uncertainty is actually a mathematical formula, and a lot of epistemic uncertainty you'll find in some information retrieval types of research in computer science. And it's just really looking at systems and how, for example, data might be uncertain, or algorithms are uncertain, and how that can affect the design of the system. Really not addressing the people part of that. And then we have sort of uncertainty that fits into the unknowns in the physical environment. So, for example, economic uncertainty, scientific uncertainty. Think about COVID and how much uncertainty there was with not knowing, the scientific process itself is uncertain, and how things were unfolding. And we did not know. There were a lot of things we did not physically possibly know. And that's in the environment. And I put that under physical uncertainty. I don't think those things are necessarily mathematically measurable, but they are physical in the sense that they exist externally to a person. And then this third area, not a whole lot on social uncertainty. So social uncertainty is a very interesting area, because in psychology, they have a type of uncertainty which they call cultural uncertainty avoidance. This is very interesting because some cultures, and this could be a culture at the foreign national level, it could be cultural in maybe a community at a more local level, but the sense of uncertainty or uncertainty avoidance is actually part of the culture. So it may be part of the culture to avoid providing information from a governmental standpoint that could create uncertainty or doubt within in your community or within population. So that is something that exists. And that also tells me that uncertainty is not only within ourselves, but it's something we that you could say it's infectious. So I think of social uncertainty as, for example, and I didn't find any literature so far on this in this Science Direct search, but there's probably some out there on things like misinformation, like, like an anti-vax community, for example, a community that comes together around some type of misinformation or disinformation and shares it. And uncertainty is central to that, but it becomes social uncertain because the whole community is sharing that same doubt, that same uncertainty. So I'm calling that social uncertainty. This is something that is not very much researched in library and information science. And so this part of my literature review and analysis is showing this gap in research, that social uncertainty is something we really need to focus on, because I think a lot of the disinformation, misinformation out there, which can be weaponized, like if you know that you can create uncertainty within groups of people, why not weaponize it through propaganda or whatever? And I think that is being done, but also within these communities where people reject evidence and sort of, I guess, gather around these ideas like the anti-vax communities based on an uncertainty or doubts. So this, I think, is a very interesting avenue for our field to do research in and to go beyond just individual information behavior. So it's almost like collective cognitive uncertainty. So basically my study is kind of looking, to define what uncertainty is or how it's treated in the literature, and then develop a framework of how do all these different types of uncertainty fit together, because they're not three separate categories, they're interrelated, like this Venn diagram. Because the physical uncertainty, for example, economic uncertainty or the uncertainties that came out of the pandemic, can create cognitive uncertainty, but it can also create social uncertainty. And we saw that happening with the way people were behaving. I think a lot of people are behaving more unusually than getting a little, I guess, wacky based on maybe this inability to cope with the uncertainties. So they were behaving in ways that maybe were unusual for them normally. And it's also, I think, infective, because if everybody around you has the same these fears and doubts, you can also develop those. They kind of like you would absorb them, and you might also become uncertain yourself. So there is this definite relationship between external or physical uncertainty and then the cognitive and social. And really the only area of research, and I didn't include this yet, but this is newer, it's the only area of research that I found where anybody was actually looking at more than one type of uncertainty was human-computer interaction research. And this makes sense to me because this is how I came to this. They're looking at the way people interact with systems, or, you know, like a computer system or a technology system, and looking at both the uncertainty within the system, which could be epistemic, like algorithmic uncertainty, or the design of it, and the way the person using it reacts to that, and which may be an uncertainty response. So that is really the only research discipline area where I have found any interaction of examination of uncertainty beyond one single sort of silo of it. And that's really the end of my presentation. Do you have any questions?
I'm so very tempted to say that I'm not really sure.
Well, I guess this is a better question, is what has been your personal experience with uncertainty? How do you feel that you cope with it, or how have you observed other people coping with it?
Dr. Sutton, did you come on to answer that question?
Well, I can take a stab at it. I have a question for Amanda, kind of a broad question, but I also see that there's one in the chats from a student, so maybe that should be your first focus. But I'm observing, I think, uncertainty in the definition that you're looking at it, or the lens that you're looking at it through, Amanda, is what I have in my head been calling fragility. And it's the way everyone, at least almost everyone that I have encountered in the last 3 years, has been, not sure how to describe it. We're on edge. We are reacting to things relative that 4 years ago would have been a relatively minor challenge that was easily overcome. We're overreacting. We're having a really hard time dealing with them. And that's anything from a family member's illness to a small change in your routine to just about anything. And I'm probably rambling and not making a lot of sense, but
well, I think that makes a lot of sense to me, because
I see it in my students, I see it in my colleagues, I see it in my friends and the people that I interact with around town. It's just everywhere.
Well, that would be, I would fall into the category of social uncertainty, where we're talking about collective cognitive uncertainty, where people are actually feeding off of each other with this, and perhaps you could call anxiety, and that creates more uncertainty. And so we have actually Elizabeth here asking, are you planning on doing future research? Absolutely. This study will show the gap, which is really important when you're doing research, and to find the gap in the research so that other people can start looking at it and doing researches. And that is definitely something that I would like to continue on, because I think we need, I have to finish this study first to really develop a nice solid definition of what is social uncertainty. But it's definitely something that's I would call right now collective cognitive uncertainty. And it just seems like it's very infectious, because you see it not only in what Dr. Sutton is talking about, but also when we look at things like the anti-vax communities or any other community that's centered around misinformation. they're sharing misinformation. It becomes a community or a knowledge practice that they're sharing misinformation. And a lot of them, you're feeding off of each other with this sense of uncertainty and anxiety or fragility, as Dr. Sutton describes. So Angie sees it daily in elementary students. And I think that the pandemic has created a higher level of social uncertainty in our life world, because people were, before, if you were living your life and everything seemed certain, and suddenly it's like we all got this, I've seen it like somebody gets, let's say, a traumatic like a cancer diagnosis, and it becomes like you don't know, you're being told probabilities of what your survival rate will be, and so there's a lot of uncertainty, because uncertainty and probability are basically the same thing. The way you react to that, some people might react to that as avoiding information, and some people may react more with more resilience. But I think that we have everybody dealing with the same trauma at the same time, with a global pandemic created such a high level of it, that I think that anxiety and the fragility and all those things are coming to the surface, and people are feeding off of each other. So we have, let's see, Elizabeth, I see the collective cognitive uncertainty, social uncertainty as a trauma response. Yeah, it could be a trauma response, but it could also be that people were lacking coping skills or resiliency in the first place. They didn't have those skills. Because not everybody does. If you never encountered something like that, you may not have ever had the chance to develop those skills. So I think that's part of it. And we have Stan here. Are there suggestions and research on how to cope? So yes, there are. And that's in psychology research. There are, but that's really not the social level. The psychology research I've come across, positive psychology in particular, is looking at the individual, but resilience, developing resilience, which is another avenue of research I've kind of interested in, looking at resilience as part of the information literacy skill set, for coping with uncertainty in information. Okay, and then we would like to go back here and address Nathan, who says, can you expand on any of the behavioral models? Nathan, did you want me to like, I can look up and show you what the models look like if you're unfamiliar with them? Would that help? Okay, so which one? I'll actually start with Dervin, because as you may know, or may not know, Brenda Dervin recently passed away at the end of 2022. She's a brilliant theorist, coming out of communication in the field, and has really had an amazing impact on our field. So she's a great loss to the LIS world. So let me pull up her little, you have a question, Andrew?
While you were doing that, two things occurred to me. The first thing is that this sort of shared response is nothing new.
No.
I mean, let's think previous iterations of it might have been described as mass hysteria. Think of the Salem witch trials or things like that. But the other thing that just occurred to me is, to what extent has essentially 24-hour news coverage and the constant input of media contributed to our fragility? Because I'm just thinking, even years ago, 20 years ago, I remember commenting that the particular news channel I watched, I mean, local news, broadcast news, no longer had a weather section. They had a severe weather center. And I thought, so there is no longer ordinary weather. All weather is now severe. And just when I think of the number of warnings we get from the university, you know, oh, it's going to be a freeze tonight, and we get a warning about it, and we're almost being oversensitized to what 20, 30 years ago would be considered normal. But we're being asked to provide a heightened response to it. So have we allowed ourselves to be overstimulated, if you like, into this place where we're almost becoming incapable of giving a calmer response because everything is now characterized as an emergency, as an outlier, as a cause for panic, to the extent where, I mean, I think for the recent Florida hurricanes, the number of people who did not respond to the evacuation orders was very high.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder, because they've had, you know, it's the boy calling wolf.
Mm-hmm.
If you give too many false alarms, when the real alarm comes, you can't tell the difference. But I just wonder if we've been oversensitized, and that's also part of what's feeding into this, what Dr. Sutton calls fragility.
I think that's a good point. You know, I think there are nefarious players in this too, who are taking what I think are normal human responses to uncertainty, and because what does it do? It gets more clicks. You know, it's anything that's more extreme is, you know, people will flock to that and be interested in it, and it makes them more money for people who are, you know, running the media. So they're creating this, and I think this is part of why the umbrella of information literacy should include media literacy and news literacy and all that kind of stuff. But I think the resilience piece is something that it's just like we don't have that. I just think of my grandparents' generation who lived through the Depression and through time periods where resilience was something you had to develop in order to survive. And we don't have that. I think we've just gotten maybe accustomed to everything coming easy and things not being difficult. And of course, the Great Depression must have been a very uncertain time with the economy, with, you know, are you going to find a job? Are you going to be able to feed yourself? And so I look at my grandparents, who are no longer, you know, living, but who lived through that and were much more resilient than I think that current generations of people are. And that resilience is part of what I see as a problem, or as a lack of that resilience muscle in responding to all this uncertainty. And maybe that's why media outlets, you know, have figured out that if you push out all this extreme news, all of this thing that creates a high level of uncertainty, that you get more people you just get more people coming to your outlets. They're more interested in. So I think this is why social uncertainty is so interesting, that we are talking about it. We're just not talking about it in this way. And I also think in media or mass communication studies, you probably have discussion of something along these lines that's not being talked about within the library and information science field. But back to, I think Nathan asked about different models of information behavior. So there's a whole bunch of them, and hopefully, so Nathan, what classes are you taking this semester? Do we have any information behavior students in this class? There's a seminar that Dr. Vardell is teaching, and then there's also 802. Okay, so we have some. So you may encounter these. I don't know it actually, because this is my first year. I don't know the full curriculum for 802 right now, but I'm sure that you are going to encounter these information behavior models. Brenda Dervin, this is hers. She actually, I think she created this on like a napkin. initially her little stick figure, which became famous. But this is what she sort of envisioned as sense making. So she had a sense making methodology and theory on information behavior. This area right here, I call the uncertainty gap. So here she calls it gaps, but questions, confusion, muddles, riddles, all of these are falling in here as a little stick figure walks across what looks like a bridge to the outcomes on this side. Okay, so in most information behavior models, this gap, as this little stick figure looks for information and seeks out information, the uncertainties, the gap closes, the uncertainties are reduced. I think that's just not true all the time. It's true some of the time, but just not all the time, because we have physical uncertainty within information, which might create more confusion and more muddles and more questions, and may make you want to just kind of like avoid the information altogether. So this is kind of my favorite model because it's so interesting. I mean, I just like her. I like her stick figure. And then here I'm going to look up the Kuhlthau's model real quick too, because that's one for sure that you even get exposed to in 801. And so this might be familiar to you. Now, her research on the uncertainty principle is an article that's difficult to dig up. I keep losing mine and have to go back through interlibrary loan to get it again and again, because it's hard to find. But here, she was at Rutgers University, but we have her model right here. So this was applied to K-12, or really public education, because she was I believe she was maybe a reading teacher before she got her PhD. And so we have uncertainty here. You'll see this in her model. So she looks at uncertainty too as something that will be reduced as the information search process moves along. And she looks at it as an affective or a feeling of anxiety. And then you have confusion, you have other terms that are related to uncertainty, but as the information search process goes on, those are supposed to be reduced. And by the end of it, you have a sense of accomplishment. You found your information. But of course, again, this can't be true all the time, because if the information you encounter is not certain, if it doesn't answer your questions or reduce your uncertainty gap, it's just going to increase. And another aspect of this that is not talked about, but I actually have an article coming out in Library Trends anytime now. It's on the positive psychology around uncertainty. And that's another reason why I kind of thought about this for this paper I'm developing, is that sometimes we actually have positive responses to uncertainty, like curiosity, discovery, people who like to go to haunted houses, and things like that are scary. There's a lot of uncertainty in that, and for some reason they like that. They embrace that, and so this whole article, and I hope it comes out soon. It's like 2 years since since it got accepted. It's been a very long time, but it's called Finding Joy in Uncertainty, and the whole issue of this Library Trends is on the joy of information. So it's just, this is kind of an area that I've I guess it is very much tied to information behavior, but it's coming out of my work with information theory and technical uncertainty, and just seeing how this is very much an issue within our information interactions, not just individually, but socially and societally.
I have one more thing just to comment on, and Dr. Hovious, this is really interesting research that you're doing, but it just struck me, I was talking about the constant news, whatnot, But there's another whole level of uncertainty now when things change on us. I just noticed, what was it, last week or the week before, just before the new semester, for the faculty, the computer interface where you do all your signs in changed.
Mm-hmm.
No notice, you just went in one day and it was totally different and everything's acting differently and there's a whole new set of interfaces. And I thought that is also unbalancing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
we're not even talking about things I'm not familiar with. We're talking about the familiar things that we use every single day are frequently now made new and different to us, so that there's almost nothing that we can guarantee we as faculty will be able to do the way we did it yesterday, because change is coming at this all the time.
That comes back to the research on human computer interaction, where that's the only research where they're looking at that intersection of technical uncertainty or physical uncertainty, which is the interface that you're talking about, and the people using it, their cognitive uncertainty. And my dissertation research was doing this in the context of reading in a digital environment, reading a digital narrative, and particularly a multimodal narrative where it's not just words, but there's a lot of images and it's quite complex. So you can measure the complexity of the interface, and there's a high correlation with the cognitive processing that takes place in having to interpret, to make meaning out of it and figure, and even to navigate. And they've even found some research on, like, if you were just to measure the entropy of the code that underlies the computer program or the interface that you're looking at, that has a correlation with navigation usability. So, and that's all coming out of human computer interaction, which is the only area of research I found that kind of, well, because it's human and computer, they're looking at both of these functions, although they're not always talking about it with this language. But they're looking at that interaction and the complexity of the relationship between the humans and the technology.
And I'll say one more thing here. And we are all highly educated people struggling with this.
Mm-hmm.
This issue comes up. I was talking about it with other members of the library faculty just on the way back from our lunch the other day, when we were talking about benefits and healthcare, and saying we, as people with multiple degrees in an educational institution, are struggling to get the barest handle on what's going on. How on earth are people with less education than we have able to cope with this enormous complexity and with the enormous amount of change that occurs? Because the other thing we all know is our healthcare stuff doesn't stay the same. It changes very often radically every 12 months. And that's also a part that I think we quite often don't remember, is we have a grasp of this. This is what we do. We're information professionals and we're struggling with it. What is it like for real people who haven't had the benefit of our education or our information experience, and what are the effects on them? Because that is a whole area that I think is not really explored enough. And also the rapidity of change now is almost threatening. Threatening.
You can measure those things too. I mean, and I think that's what we need is, I mean, I'm very interested in measuring physical information, and anything that can be broken down into a unit can be measured. You can measure because entropy, Claude Shannon's formula was information entropy, which is another way of saying information uncertainty or information complexity. The higher the entropy, the more complex. And all it is a measure of the variability of a unit of information. The more variability in something, the more complex it is, the more uncertainty there is in it, the higher the entropy. And so you could take any unit, you could take changes, you could actually measure the changes and what is the entropy of that? What is the complexity? And how do people respond to that? Those are the things I'm very interested in doing, because I think having the quantitative measure, because I think we get criticized too much in the library and information science field for being too qualitative. So if we're able to bring in more quantitative, which some people will consider more empirical information or evidence, then maybe somebody will listen, because I think we're shouting out in a silo here, where other disciplinary fields don't even necessarily know we exist. So I mean, it's either publish outside your field or shout really loud and hope somebody hears you. So we have Nathan saying, are there areas where the art generation AI versions are struggling with uncertainty? Very interesting that you asked that, Nathan, because that's basically what my dissertation research was. It wasn't AI, but it was looking at digital interfaces and measuring the pixel unit level as a measure of entropy. So you could do that exact same thing with an AI version. Like, they have those where you just plug in the keywords and then it generates images for you. I think that's probably what you're talking about. You could measure that by looking, you can just export or extract the pixel unit information on this, which is the pixel intensities of an image, and then measure the complexity of it that way. So it can be done, and it is. I did it, and I know it's being done somewhat in computer science. Yes, we have Elizabeth saying getting a cultural anthropologist in on this. I absolutely agree. In fact, if you ever have a chance to take an ethnographic type of research course, it's definitely worth it. I did that in my PhD studies. Okay, and then Nathan says, yes, so it is measured by the speeds. Well, pixel intensity is the intensity level of the RGB. It's the RGB intensities of each pixel, but you could also measure at speed too as a different unit and the complexity of that. Do we have any last questions or thoughts? Yeah, I think this is the kind of thing. So the way I do research, somebody once told me I had a mind for theory. So I tend to pick up weird little theories that are not much used and work with them. But then I like to present my ideas and then get feedback from other people. Like this is the perfect setting for that. And I think that's how we grow creatively. I definitely consider myself a creative researcher in that respect, but that's what I do.
Thank you. This was very interesting.
All right. Well, and thanks for coming. So I think Jan now is probably going to take over for a minute.